Welcome to the Locks and Dogs NFL Picks Podcast, Week 2 edition. We've got the locks and a few dogs that you need to hear, and the podcast starts right now. Hey, this is Matt.
And Mark.
Welcome to Locks and Dogs. Mark, we had a hell of a Week 1, did we not?
We did, but the first rule about NFL Week 1 is not to overreact about NFL Week 1.
Very true. However, there's one thing I'm going to overreact to.
What's that?
Yours truly, the king of the late slate, 5-0 against the spread, locked in.
That's amazing.
It's Week 1, and I'm already picking games at like mid-season form.
We'll have to get you a late slate crown.
I think we will. Yeah, the king of the you're still the king of the 3 tub parlay. You can keep your crown. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, Mark. And I'm officially the king of the late slate. My picks go unquestioned when it comes to late afternoon.
I didn't do quite as well for Week 1, but I did have pretty nice dog in there.
Yeah.
That picked up with the Buccaneers money line.
That Bucs dog, that was a nice pick. Yeah, that one I did whiff on. Great call. That game was an absolute street fight. Honestly, I was thinking about this when I was kind of prepping for the show. How many offenses did you see that actually looked good in Week 1? I can think of 3 that I would say looked like they could move the ball reliably well. Finns, 2 is my guy. For now and forever, 2 is my guy. Finns, Chargers were the 2 that I thought probably looked like the most competent, like reliably competent. Cowboys, I don't know what to make of them because the Giants couldn't block anyone, and defense was constantly in a great position. There was like 1 or 2 others that the Falcons were who they thought they were.
The Lions looked decent.
They only scored 14 points on offense. But other than that, I guess the Rams were okay without Cooper Kupp. They looked better than I thought they would look. Other than that, I did not see a lot of. I guess the 49ers, you could throw them in there. But again, it's kind of the same situation as the Cowboys, where they constantly in fantastic situations through the entire game. I mean, they blocked the hell out of the Steelers. They came. That offensive line came to hit. So I didn't see very many offenses that I was really all that impressed with. I think get the sense that there's still some training camp rust that has to be shaken off. Guys kind of like barely played in preseason, and I think we're kind of seeing some of the effects in the early going. That being said, it's just kind of something to watch out for as far as they'll figure it out as they go. Yeah, I was not impressed by a lot of the offenses that I saw, at least in Week 1. 2 is the great equalizer, but we'll see how. Mark, is there anything else that you saw this in Week 1 that the Bears mentioning?
Well, I saw some utter collapses, that's for sure, including my much beloved Bears.
Oh God! You cheer with your heart, bet with your wallet.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it to be as one-sided as it was, but yeah, that was not a great effort from the Bears.
Well, it wasn't only the Bears. We also had some collapses from the Giants, the Steelers, the Bengals, the Chiefs to a certain extent.
Okay, I've seen a lot of bad offensive line. Being a Bears fan, we've seen a lot of bad offensive line play. I think the Giants might have been among the worst I've ever seen. And that, if you look at the pieces there, they're not. I mean, you've got Andre Thomas, Neal, both first-round picks. John Michael Schmitz, I believe he was a second-rounder out of Minnesota, and he was good at Minnesota. Like I watched a lot of the Golden Gophers in last year. He's a really good center. At least he was in college. The guard play was exceptionally poor. That one guy, Glowinski, was a revolving door. Every play was a jailbreak. Daniel Jones just had no chance. And the Giants had no chance, and it was over from like the first 2 minutes. The Steelers, same, kind of the same issue with the Steelers. I thought they were going to come out a lot stronger against the 49ers. 49ers bullied the Steelers in Week 1. That was bully ball. They were getting shoved around, offensive line, defensive line. 49ers in the trenches are nasty. Other than that, Bengals played like they met 5 minutes before the game started. The Chiefs were about the same, but then again, you had Kadarius Toney, who's been clowned on for a solid week now. You got to think he's going to bounce back. Well, would be impressive to see him do that 2 weeks in a row. That being said, you ready to dive into the picks for Week 1?
Let's get it.
All right. Thursday, September 14th, Vikings at Eagles, spread +7, over under total 48.5. What are you thinking for Thursday, the second Thursday night?
Well, the first Amazon game of the year.
Ooh.
My rule for the Thursday night games are the under and the home team. Eagles -7, that's a lock for me, and under 48.5.
I'm with you on the under. I think that's a lock. I would definitely. I might even bet the under right now, as a matter of fact. However, I'm on the opposite side of this one. Number one, I think 7 points is probably a bit too many for this game. I was trying to figure out where the line would open. It opened at 7.5, and it's come down to 7. I thought it would open closer to maybe like 5.5. Bit surprised that Vegas set the line so high. 2, I was really underwhelmed by the Eagles They came out, got up big, and then they kind of let the Pats crawl back into it. It was a really weird game. After the first quarter, the Pats really figured out what the Eagles were doing and how to stop it. It wouldn't shock me if the Vikings took notes. Also, given the short week, I just feel like 7 points is just a bit too many for this. So I'm taking the dog. I'm not taking on the money line. I'm not going to lock it up. It's going to be a sprinkle for me because it's midweek. You don't want to blow the bankroll on a Thursday night game unless you really think you want to lock it up. I'm on the Vikings +7. Don't love it. Love the under in this game. I think 48 is way too many. Yeah, I don't really see it. I think it's going to be an easy cover to the under in this one.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins really returned to Kirk Cousins form last week. I expect him to do the same this week. Again, I'm going to follow my Thursday night rules.
Okay.
Home team and the under.
And really no injuries to really worry about. The only guy currently on the Eagles injury report is Kenny Gainwell. They've got so many backs, it really doesn't matter. I mean, you could probably lose 2 guys and still out of that backfield and really not. Next up on the list, we got Chiefs at Jaguars. Chiefs -3, over under at 51.
Taking the Chiefs -3. I think the Chiefs get back to their winning ways against the Jaguars. The Jaguars did some okay things last week.
Against the Colts. I guess the big question is, does Travis Kelce play? I've got to think he does.
Yeah, we don't know that.
Yeah, it has yet to be confirmed. It sounded like he wanted to play on the first Thursday night, and they kind of set him up precautionary. That usually tells me that he's probably going to be good to go, unless he suffers like a midweek setback of some sort. We're recording this on a Tuesday. My gut says he's playing. The line kind of tells me that he's playing. We'll just kind of take it from there. Again, I still think I would like the Chiefs even without Kelce, but then again, I said that last week, and we saw how that went. Yeah, give me the Chiefs -3. I'm not going to lock it up. Over under 51. I've got to play to the under. Did not see nearly enough out of the Chiefs offense, especially if they're working Kelce back in. The other weapons on that offense just did not impress me whatsoever. Tony was a mess. Who's the other wide receiver that did something almost equally as stupid? Sky Moore. Yeah, Sky Moore was doing cardio on Thursday night, just running up and down the field. No passes, just doing cardio. Just gonna get his steps in. Yeah, Sky Moore didn't impress. Tony didn't impress. I'm not going to lock up the Chiefs. I like the -3. I'm going to sprinkle it, and I do like the under in this one. All right, next up, Bears at Bucks. Bucks -3, over under 41.5. I faded the Bears last week at home. Are they the better team?
Well, it's a battle of NFC Titans, that's for sure.
Certainly.
Bears are the better team. This is a must-win game for the Bears. They play Kansas City the week after. If they lose 3 in a row, the season's over. Justin Fields is a bust. The coaching staff gets fired.
Do you think they get fired if they have a bad year? It would have to be like a Mark Trestman level disaster where there's like a full-on mutiny. You'd have to have like Mark Trestman like demanding to start Nate Peterman because he can run the offense better. Okay, the concern that I have with the Bears here is that you spent all offseason like putting pieces around Justin Fields only to throw swing passes and wide receiver screens down the field, not sideways, forwards. That's what I was not. The play calling I felt was poor. It's not the only reason the Bears lost. They lost for a lot of reasons on Sunday, not just the play calling. Play calling didn't help. They did not put Justin Fields in good positions, I didn't think.
The defense did not perform well either. Yeah. I did not see a 50% increase in defensive production.
I'm still worried about and we've got Jaquan Brisker complaining about the boos already. That being said, I'm on the Bears. I like them with the points, sprinkle the money line. Reason being, I think this game is going to be kind of a rock fight. I think you're going to see kind of a repeat of last week against the Vikings. Hopefully the Bears are able to go down the field a bit more as opposed to trying the sideways passes. And honestly, I just think the Baker kind of showed out a little bit last week. I think whenever he starts riding high, that's when it comes crashing down, and I feel like this is a good crash down spot for him.
Baker performs well when he thinks the world is against him. So now that he's gotten that out of his system.
Also, injury report, I've got nothing to add.
And just for the record, I'm taking the Bears money line.
Bears +3. Bears +3, and I'll sprinkle the money line is what I'm going to do. Over under 41.5. I like the over. I think given how rough the Bears defense can be, I think the Bucks can score a little bit. I think the Bears can score. I think their offense is better than they showed against the Packers. If they master the forward pass as opposed to the sideways pass, I think we'll see improvement. I think the value's in the Bears in this case, and that's the side I'm on. Right, next up, Seahawks at Lions. Lions -5.5. Over under 49. Are you a believer in MCDC this year, Mark?
I'm going with the Lions -5.5.
All right. I will say Ford Field is probably going to be like as lit as Ford Field has been in the past decade. So there's going to be a bit of a home field advantage, right? I do think that Vegas has the number just about right. That being said, I think this is going to be a bit of a rock fight. +5.5 is way too many points for this game. I don't think there's that big of a difference in terms of talent between these teams. In fact, I think if you look up and down the rosters, I think they're remarkably similar if you really think about it and are really honest about it. Again, this is one where we've kind of seen what the Lions can do. We've seen what they want to do on offense. I think the Seahawks can do enough on defense to kind of contain it. They didn't look great. That being said, I do expect the Seahawks to show a bit better against the Lions this week. Kind of like the Seahawks running game matching up against the Lions defense. I think the Lions are a bit soft in the middle. I love the Lions edges. I think think the middle is where you kind of want to be attacking that defense. Kind of like the matchup for the Seahawks here in the plus 5.5. I'm gonna bet. I'm betting the Hawks plus 5.5. You could talk me into the money line sprinkle, but I might not. Over under this one 49. I think it's a bit beefy, especially for an early game. Give me the under. I'm probably not going to bet it, but I would lean under for this one. I think 49. That's 7 touchdowns between these two teams. It's a bit much for this one, so I'm going to lean under on the point total. Right, next up, Packers and Falcons. Packers plus 1 over under 41. This is Vegas like daring you to bet on the Packers, right? What's your take on this one?
I'm probably going to be fading the Falcons all year long. I'm going with the Packers plus 1 and or the money line. The Falcons, I'm not sold on Desmond Ridder.
Oh no, he looked terrible. If he throws more than 10 passes per game, the Falcons are in trouble.
Jordan Love, did his best Rodgers impression last week. He dropped back. He had all the time in the world to pass to whoever he wanted to. And
a couple injuries here. Christian Watson still questionable. Aaron Jones had a hamstring injury on Sunday, was seen receiving treatment on the sidelines. Neither of those really impacted for me. I really don't think I think having Aaron Jones and Christian Watson would be beneficial. If they have them, I definitely like the Packers. My only thought, we saw the Packers do really well against a team that should be run heavy last week. I don't think the Falcons are going to, necessarily try the swing passes and the screen passes. I think hopefully they've got somebody watching that tape and are going to realize that that's not the way to beat the Packers, because the Bears certainly didn't figure it out. That being said, I think the Packers have a stout enough defense where they can stack the box, force Desmond Ridder to try to beat them. I don't think he can. I don't think he has the weapons to beat them. I do like the Falcons running game, and I would fade the under on I would look to take the under on this one. But based on what I saw, the Packers are a lot more complete of a roster than the Falcons are. Vegas is playing some games with this one. I don't quite understand this line. That Packers, I figured it would be Packers like -2, -2.5. To see it come out as Packers plus 1 is a bit odd to me. I actually like the Falcons. I'm going to look to ride them, especially in some of the divisional matchups. I think they're you're going to see them do better than you think in that division. This one, yeah, it's a weird one for me. I guess I'm taking the bait. I'm on the Packers. Give me the plus 1. Give me the money line. Whatever pays the best, I'll bet. I don't really care. As far as the over under, I'm looking at the under. I think this is going to be like a ground and pound, slow game where there's not going to be a lot of scoring. But I think the Packers are going to. I think they're going to win this pretty comfortably. To be quite honest, I don't see the Falcons being able to score all that much in this one.
Yeah, the Falcons have an excellent running game, but not much.
Well, they look great against. They looked great against the Panthers last week. The Panthers might be one of the 3 worst teams in the league.
We can't overreact.
Yeah, okay. I'm not. I've kind of been saying it all off season. Next up, Chargers at Titans. Chargers -3. Over under at 41. This one's like a throw my hands up special. I don't like either side. Neither of these teams really. The Chargers appeared to be able to move the ball on offense. The Titans appeared clueless on offense. I did like some of the things the Titans defense were doing. I think they kept them in that game. I was not impressed by anything the Chargers defense did. Tua and Tyreek kind of had their way with that defense. How do you handicap this one?
I'm going with the Chargers -3. The Titans, Tannehill did not look particularly good last week.
Awful.
To the Chargers' credit, it was they were in a shootout with Miami. Offensively, they looked pretty good. Like you said, this is a throw my hands up special on this one.
I might sprinkle. We'll see. There is no Austin Eckler injury. He's got an ankle, a concern with his ankle. We don't know if he's going to sit or start at this point. Again, my guess is always that if it's a questionable, my guess is that if it's questionable on Tuesday, that means he's probably starting on Sunday. But you never know. If he's a setback or is a thing in warm ups. You never know. So keep an eye on the injury status for Austin Eckler. I do think they're a better offense with him on the field. Without him, they do become they lose a key dimension. I can't say they become one dimensional, because I still think with Joshua Kelly, I still think they're capable on the ground. But they're obviously a better team with Austin Eckler, lining up, next to or behind Justin Herbert. I'm on the Titans. Home team plus home dog. I like. I think that defense can do enough to keep it close. I do see this as like a 1-score game, so I'm taking the +3. I'm not sprinkling the money line. I'm not even looking at the money line. It's Titans +3. That's the bet for me. Over under. They're daring you to take the over with 41, so that tells me I want to be taking the under. I kind of feel like we saw this game script like multiple times last year with the Chargers, where you would think they're gonna come in and light it up, and they just lay a freaking egg. And I kind of think that's what we're in for on Sunday. I feel like we've seen this game script multiple times from this. It turns out being like a shootout with Derrick Henry just like running all over the place. Who knows? Either way, I'm on the Titans +3. I think they're the more physical team, and I think that's the side I want to be on. I do not trust Ryan Tannehill. I like this Titans team. They're a veteran group. They've been together for a long time.
We'll see if you're still taking the Titans in week 3.
Ravens at Bengals. Bengals -3.5. Over under 46. This is another Vegas zone one, isn't it? Okay. What's your thought process here?
Well, the Ravens looked good last week.
Did they? They won, but I'm not going to be willing to say they looked good.
They look better than the Bengals.
Okay. Again, the Bengals played like they met 5 minutes before kickoff.
I'm going with the Ravens money line as a road dog at plus 142. My logic here is that the Joe Burrow Bengals have historically gotten off to a slow start.
Agree.
And it seems like, this year's going to be more of the same. They'll probably start getting hot again in October.
Only injury concern here, J.K. Dobbins is out with an Achilles injury. Mark Andrews, I just have Mark Andrews questionable. It doesn't say anything. It's the only note here. It just says he's questionable. It doesn't say what the issue is. Something to keep an eye on there. I don't have any. I'm on the Ravens. I like their defense better. That's one. I mean, the Bengals have a quality defense. I do like the Ravens defense matching up against the Bengals offense a bit better here. Can someone please tell T. Higgins that the season started? I feel like if somebody lets him know, he'll probably have more than 0 catches in a game. I'm on the Ravens plus the 3.5. I think offensively they have an identity. I don't know that the Bengals do just yet. I do like the Bengals pieces, but again, it was the same pieces that we saw not play well last week. I don't know that they're going to necessarily get better at home. Give me the Ravens plus the 3.5, and I'm sprinkling that money line. Point total 46. If the Bengals come out and are as bad as they are last week, and the Ravens kind of look like they did last week as well, there's not much improvement. I don't see how this game gets over 46. I'm not expecting much improvement.
I expect the Bengals to score a touchdown this week.
Give me the under. I'm really close to locking up the under, in fact. I really like that this week. Yeah, give me the Ravens plus the 3.5. Sprinkle the money line. I'm on the under. Along, we got Raiders at Bills. Bills minus 8.5. Over under is 47.5. Are the Bills as bad as they looked last night?
No, they're not.
Okay. What's the case for the Bills then? How do we pay the Bills this week, Mark?
Well, if Twitter is to be believed, Josh Allen has turned into Jay Cutler. The
one I saw last night that made me laugh. Madden cover Cutler. I would tell you who tweeted it, but I think I saw it from like a couple of different folks. But either way, Madden cover Cutler is now how I'm always going to look at Josh Allen.
He does have a history of throwing a decent amount of interceptions. He likes chucking the ball down the field. When he first started out, he threw a lot of picks, and he did so against a very good Jets defense last night.
He looks broken to me. Like, he doesn't look like the same guy, and it all kind of goes back to that elbow injury that he had last year. Ever since then, he's not looked nearly as sharp. You would think, given an offseason, we'd see Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things, and he really wasn't. I saw there was a bit of indecisiveness mixed in with some bad decisions, mixed in with some good decisions. I don't know, just given that, and the stories of the drama in the club in the locker room with Stephon Diggs. Like last year, they looked like they were like such a tight team with the whole with the DeMar Hamlin situation. They looked like they were really together as a group, and they've just kind of fallen apart. And I don't know if you can get that back. The defense looked a little. I mean, Zach Wilson didn't look great, but they were able to move the ball. The defense didn't impress me. They didn't block well. I was not impressed with Josh Allen whatsoever. And the Raiders, on the other hand, looked competent.
They looked much better than I gave them credit for the week before.
To be fair, they were kind of a mess coming into that game. When you've got the team doing wellness checks in your top pass rusher, that's a sign that things might not all be well in the locker room. Does Jimmy G just win games? Does he just cover games? Is that the more important thing to ask? Based on last week, I gotta say he does.
Yeah, I'm going with the Raiders plus 8.5.
I'm right there with you. I'm on the Raiders plus 8.5. Not on the if you got the balls to play that money line, tweet at us. Let us let us know.
But I do think it's going to be a more competitive game.
Oh, to be fair, I mean last night's game went into overtime. It was a competitive. They just happened to lose in horrific fashion in front of a national audience. That being said, yeah, I'm on the Raiders plus 8.5. I think it's too many points. Odd to say that, because if this was last year, I think we'd both be jumping all over the Bills, but it's not. But it's 2023, not 2022. Over under 47.5. Again, that sounds way too beefy for me. I'm going to be fading the under a lot. I have a feeling, just because maybe it's recency bias. Maybe I should be fading the over, but I haven't seen enough out of these offenses to really make me want to believe in that they're going to score more than 50 points. I just don't see it. Cruising along. Colts at Texans. Ooh, first round draft pick battle. Colts minus 1.5. Over under is 40. What do you do with this game?
Well, someone has to win.
Dude, no, not necessarily.
I'm going with the Colts minus 1.5. Honestly, I thought Anthony Richardson looked better than C.J. Stroud last week. Okay. The other thing is that the Texans defense is not good. They're not a good defense.
Rookie quarterback on the road. Rookie quarterback. Okay, this is where I'm at. I'm assuming Anthony Richardson's going to play. He did exit the game early, a little bit early. We thought it appeared to be a concussion. It sounded like he hurt his knee, which was odd to me because it looked like it was a concussion. The backfield is still in a bit of flux. Zach Moss is still listed as questionable with his coming back from a broken arm. Evan Hull is listed as questionable, and Coach Steichen said he could miss time. It's a knee injury. I don't know what that means. I mean, I don't know that Evan Hull is, if he's hurt, he probably shouldn't be trying to force it. He's Evan Hull. He's not, Austin Eckler or anybody, I'm kind of curious to see what the Colts look like with Zach Moss. I think that could be potentially be interesting from a fantasy perspective. On the Texans side, John Mechie III is questionable, and Dare Ogunbowale is listed as questionable. He's a running back that I think got some run like a year or two ago. Gun to my head, I'll take the Texans on the money line, just to be different. I kind of like the Colts defense. They look competent against Goldilocks. That being said, they still gave up over 30 points to the Jags, did they not? I just think with the rookie quarterback on the road, his first home game against a team that's known not to play well on the road last year. Now he's going into Houston. Probably not going to be lit, not going to be a hostile environment necessarily, but it's going to be different. It's his first real road game, first real road test against the Texans. I guess you couldn't really pick a better one. That being said, I don't think either of these teams are really all that good. Just give me the Texans on the money line. Over under 40.
I almost want the over for that one with a bad Texans defense.
I think they're both. Hold my nose and just take the under. I think they're daring you to take the over with the 40, and I say no. I'll take the under, please. And I'm close to locking up the under. This brings us to our late. That takes care of the early slate, late afternoon slate, and this is where again I've got my crown on.
It's your time to shine.
It really is. First matchup: 49ers at Rams. 49ers -8. Over under 44.5.
The Rams look good. We'll never fade the 49ers again.
No.
But I'm taking the Rams +8. I think the 8 points is too many. I think it's probably going to be a closer game than most people think.
I don't think so. I'm laying the 8. I'm sorry. I don't think the 49ers are going to be able to push around Aaron Donald the same way they pushed around the Steelers. However, I still think they're going to push around the other three guys. And on the defensive front, I don't prayer circle for Matt Stafford. For what I saw Kenny Pickett kind of go through, I'm kind of worried for Matt Stafford. Prayer circle for him. I just think the 49ers are the better team. It was bully ball last week against the Steelers on the road. They're going into LA, which not exactly a hornet's nest. Show me where the Rams have a legitimate advantage over the 49ers.
They perform better than I thought they would without Cooper Kupp. I think their defense is good. I can't say that they're two evenly matched teams because I think the Niners are.
Which is why you lay the 8 and you take the better team. Sorry, I'm laying the 8. Give me the better team. Over under 44.5. This is one I would actually be curious to take the over on. I think the Rams will score. What did the Steelers scored 7 points against that defense last week? Yeah. I think they'll score more than 10 points. But I think the 49ers still, I think they roll in this one. I really do. It's a team that could potentially be the best team in the league versus a team that's probably, might be a fringe wild card team maybe in a best case scenario. Yeah, give me the 49ers laying the 8. That's where I'm at for this one. Which brings us to Giants at Cardinals. Giants -4. 40.5 is the over under. Is there any case to take the Cardinals?
No, there's not. I'm going with the Giants -4. Lock it up for me. I know I locked up the Giants last week.
I think we both did. Yeah. Okay. Double lock. Well, I'll take the Giants -4.
But this speaks to us not overreacting. I think the Giants get back to actually playing football and not getting thrown around by the Cowboys. I think they actually, score a touchdown in this game.
Score a point.
Yeah. The Cardinals looked exactly the Cardinals were who we thought they were last week.
And that's why we took the damn field.
Yeah.
If you want to, are you crowning the Giants?
This week I am.
And crown their ass. Giants -4, over under 40.5. Best case scenario for the Cardinals is they score 10 points. I honestly feel that way. I mean, maybe 12, maybe 4 field goals. Worst case scenario for the Giants, they score 20. Yeah, that's where I'm at for this one. I think the Giants roll. It's on the road, but I don't think anybody is really, it's again not exactly a tough place to play. The Cardinals, their defensive front seven might be among the worst in the league. I don't think they're going to be able to get to Daniel Jones the same way the Cow. I mean, every play was a jailbreak for Daniel. It was like he was running for his life from like the moment they started. I was surprised they didn't stick with the run a bit better, to be quite honest. Maybe they do this week. They actually commit to the ground and pound and just kind of grind out a win. All right, next up. Commies at Broncos. Broncos -3.5, over under 39. Okay. I'm on record as fading the Broncos now and forever. I think based on what I saw, I'll forever have memories of the Nathaniel Hackett era, and just being able to fade the Broncos week in and week out. Money line points, it really didn't matter. I don't see the case for making the Broncos a favorite in this one. Okay, it's mile high. No, it's not mile high anymore. Either way, you're playing at elevation. I just don't see the case for to favor this Broncos team against anybody except maybe like the absolute worst in the league. And I don't feel the Commanders are that. The Commanders defense looked competent against the Cardinals. They did enough to win the game. Cardinals offense did enough to move the ball against a Cardinals defense that showed up better than you would think they would. I just don't see what the Broncos can really do. And I think there's a couple injury concerns with the Broncos. Let me get the report up here. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, they've got the tight end Greg Dulcich and Jerry is doubtful with a hamstring. Expected to miss multiple weeks, and Jerry Jeudy is still questionable. And Jeudy missed last week. My guess is he probably misses this week too. So down a couple weapons for Danger Russ. And the only activity for the Commanders is Dax Milne has been placed in the IR with a groin. Sky point for Dax Milne.
Yeah, I like the Commanders plus the 3.5. Another dog for me. I like the over at 39. Still not entirely sold on this Broncos team, Sean Payton or otherwise.
I guess you got to take the over, I guess, but I don't love it. I probably won't bet the over-under on this one because I think I think Vegas is a number about right, but I will be all over the commies with the plus 3.5 and sprinkle that money line, please. Right, next up, Jets at Cowboys. Jets plus 8.5, over-under 40.5. Okay, so the Cowboys looked absolutely fantastic, and they're a dominating win against the Giants. The Jets, the Aaron Rodgers era lasted all of 4 plays before his Achilles tendon decided to pop. So we're looking at Zach Wilson going into Dallas, and Dallas is probably going to be lit for this one. This is a case of actually going into hostile territory. 100,000 Cowboys fans strong. What are you doing here?
I'm going with the Cowboys minus 8.5. Basically, my logic here is that the Cowboys defense looked good. Dak looked
fantastic. I mean, come on, you shut out against an offense that we thought was competent. That's a fantastic. That's more than looking good.
The Jets defense also looked good. We got Zach Wilson starting.
The thought with the Jets, I feel like it would be impossible for a team to have a performance as bad or worse as the Giants' offensive line on Sunday night. I think the Jets' offensive line actually looked a couple penalties, but nothing ridiculous. I think the Jets' offensive line is a bit better matchup against the Dallas Cowboys defense. That and the Cowboys. If you look back historically, the Cowboys have kind of owned the Giants. They've kind of they know how to whatever the Giants are doing in the offensive line, the Cowboys know how to get around it and make it look like a turnstile. I don't think it'll be a turnstile on Sunday, and I kind of like. I hate to say it. I kind of like the Jets' backfield. I feel Saquon is a better running, is obviously a better player, but Breece Hall was able to find holes last night. I mean, I kind of wish they would have committed to the run a bit more with him. He and Dalvin both of them look pretty good. So I feel like they've got a ground game, and if they can keep Zach Wilson from being Zach Wilson, they should be able to stick in this game. I think the defense is going to have to stand up again. I think they will. That Jets defense is nasty, and it's at every level too. Secondary linebackers. Defense D-line, that's a nasty defense to deal with. The reason they were able to win that game is because of their defense. I kind of seeing it play out. I don't love betting on Zach Wilson on the road, but I don't love betting on Dak when he's an 8.5 point favorite either. Give me the Jets plus 8.5. It's a hold your nose special. I feel like you just got to hold your nose and take the 8.5 points here because this one kind of stinks. They're daring you to take. I think they're daring you to take the Cowboys here. And when Vegas dares, I say no. Over under 40.5. Again, I feel like the over is a dare, but in this case, I will take it. I do think that these two teams are go over 40. Simply put, I don't think the Cowboys defense is going to get a second consecutive shutout. I feel like the Cowboys will actually score a few, more than a few. We'll be able to score a couple points on the Jets defense. But I like the Jets to cover. I'm not sprinkling the money line. You could talk me into the Raiders money line against the Bills. You cannot talk me into the Jets money line against Dallas.
Zach Wilson did look very confused on Monday night. Well, I think the Cowboys might be legit. Okay. Again, I'm going with the Cowboys minus 8.5.
Next up, Sunday Night Football. Dolphins at Pats. Dolphins minus 2.5, over under 47. This is a tough one. This is one of the toughest. I mean, the Dolphins look fantastic against the Chargers. And the Patriots, I was totally confused by that game. They were down 16-0 in the first quarter, and the Eagles covered, but they barely covered. It was like a 5-point win. The Pats have had the Dolphins number in the last 2 years especially. It's Sunday Night Football in Boston. Give me the Pats plus the 2.5. I'm not sprinkling the money line. 47 is a beefy number for a Patriots game. The Finns aren't playing against the Chargers. If they're playing against the Chargers defense, I would see the argument for it. I don't see the argument for it. I'm on the under again. Give me that under on Sunday Night Football. Pass plus 2.5. That's the side I'm on. Give me the home dog.
I'm going with the Dolphins minus 2.5. The Dolphins, when Tua is healthy, are very legit. The Patriots, I know it's a Sunday night game. I should probably go with the home team on this one, but the Dolphins just look too good.
I just think this is not a line that's in the Vegas zone. You would think that the Dolphins would be favored by a lot more. They're not, and I think that kind of tells you, where Vegas wants to be. And also, I feel like a lot of public money is going to be coming in on the Dolphins in this one. I always like to fade the public, so I think this is I see it as taking the 2.5 as a public fade here. But we'll see what happens. Next up, Monday night. Monday night we have 2 games. They're doing the double Monday night. I don't like the double on Monday night. I'm not a fan. I like the single, focus on one game. Don't split my attention. Saints at Panthers. Saints minus 3.5. Over-under is 40. What's the case for the Panthers here?
There really isn't one. I mean, I tried to make a case for Bryce Young last week, but that did not go as planned.
No.
Derek Carr looked good.
Okay, first off, I think the Titans defense is probably better than we think it is. Keep him contained. What shocked me was that Michael Thomas was out and playing football and moving.
Just imagine Michael Thomas against this Panthers defense.
This Panthers defense is not good. Their offense is not good either. Give me the Saints to cover the 3.5. There isn't really much analysis on the Saints might have a really good defense, and I think their offense can do enough to cover the 3.5. Over under is 40. Again, that's a bit beefy for me. I'm Joey under this week. I don't, we saw a lot of these offenses look really, really mediocre, and I don't think you solve a lot of these problems in a week. If anything, I think some of these problems might get worse. So that's why I'm on the under.
Yeah, give me the Saints minus the 3.5.
Next up, Browns at Steelers. Browns minus 2, over under at 40.5. Let me double check the injuries because I know there were a couple that came out of both of these teams. I've got no injuries in the latest Browns report, but that might be inaccurate. I know their offensive tackle, Pat Freiermuth, is questionable with a chest. Now that you mentioned, I believe I'm bleeding inside my chest. He's probably going to play. I know he left the game. I thought I saw him come back. Either way, keep an eye on Pat Freiermuth. Again, valuable weapon for Kenny Pickett. Deontay Johnson's probably out. I mean, Mike Tomlin said he's probably unavailable. I mean, this is on a Tuesday, so we don't really, we need to wait until it's confirmed, but I would not expect Deontay Johnson to play. I still like the Steelers. I don't like the Browns. I think the Browns defense looked great. The defensive line in particular looked fantastic against the Bengals team that met 5 minutes before kickoff. The Steelers are at home. They just got embarrassed at home by the 49ers. Got to think if, that it's a veteran locker room. If there's any sense of pride there, they're going to come out firing on all cylinders on Monday night against the Browns. I like the Steelers plus the 2. You could talk me into a money line sprinkle here. I mean, it's plus 105. You could just bet the money line. It's not like, I don't think the Steelers are as bad as they looked against the 49ers, and I don't think the Browns were as good as they looked against the Bengals. In fact, if you really think about it, offensively they did not look great. If you really break it down and think about it, I just think there's a lot. The Steelers have a lot more to show, and the Browns are kind of playing with found money. I don't think they really weren't expected to win that first game, so they're kind of playing with house money. We'll have to see if that impacts preparation or kind of impacts their mindset. But I feel this is kind of a must win for the Steelers. In division, you just got spanked at home on week 1. If the Steelers are going to show up, I think they're going to show up in this game, and I think they're going to show up in a big way.
I agree. I have the Steelers money line on this one. Tomlin's never had a losing season. I don't see him starting out 0-2.
No.
To begin the year.
All right, so yeah, that's the full. We've run down the full slate for week 1. We got to pick our dog and our lock. Are you going with the Steelers as your dog?
No, I'm going with the Bears as my dog. Bears money line.
Wow. Do you have a lock for the week also?
Yeah, my lock. I got to go with the Giants. -4.
My dog for the week, give me the Ravens on the money line. You can also talk me, commies also. In fact, you could talk me into doing like a little Ravens commies parlay. My lock, the Saints, -3.5. Lock up the Saints against the Panthers. I think that's to me, that looks like easy money. Not seeing anything from that Panthers team makes me think that they can cover, even at home. This has been the Locks and Dogs podcast for week 2 of the NFL season. Check out locksanddogs.com for the latest in gambling picks and news. Hit that subscribe button to get notifications on the latest episodes, and please leave us in a review. Mark loves to see 5-star reviews. I love to see 1-star reviews. Tell me how badly we've done. But either way, whether you love us or hate us, we'd love the feedback. So we're going to get better. For Locks and Dogs, this is Matt.
This is Mark.
And we'll see you next week.